Hi everyone, my name is Brenda and I'm the educator and rep for AOMed. Today is our first edition of Meet Our AOMed Partners. Today we have Jenny Anderson. I'm going to go ahead and let Jenny introduce herself and explain what the name of her business is and what are some things that she does in her practice. So let's just go. Hi Jenny, how are you today?
Good. How are you, Brenda?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to see you. And thank you so much for being our very first interview with Meet Our Partners. And
Thank you.
we're going to have you send me all your details about your business. And when we load it up to YouTube, it'll be down in the notes section on how people can meet you and reach out to you and book with you. Because we want this to be a way where people get to know what you do and people in your area, and you can use it as a marketing tool as well. So
Great.
tell us a little bit of where you're at, the name of your business, and how you came up with your company name. So just kind of like, hi, I'm Jenny, and this is what I
Hi,
do.
I'm Jenny, and I'm the owner of, and I'm a solo esthetician at Wax and 40 Lashes. I'm located in downtown Snohomish, which is in the state of Washington. The way I came up with my name was I was 40 years old when I decided to become an esthetician. And after working for other people for a while, my niche became wax. My main bread and butter is waxing and lashing. So it came up with Wax and 40 Lashes.
That's
So
great. That's a great name.
Yeah, my age and what I did most of.
And how long have you been in business?
I've been in business a total of 6 years, but I've been an esthetician for 10.
Great. Great. Now, what did you do before you opened your practice?
I was working for other people. My first one was inside a rinky-dink hotel, which is now known as Wyndham. What was it called before that? I don't remember now.
It's okay. That was a question I just kind of threw in there that wasn't planned.
I don't remember the name. That's really terrible because I worked there for 2 years.
It's okay. It's all right. No worries. No worries.
I worked for another lady down in Arlington, also doing the same as Wax and 40 Lashes. I was a contractor for both of those spas. Yeah.
Great. Now, what made you want to go out on your own?
There was a lot of drama, between amongst women, and it wasn't a very supportive environment, and they were not treating us fairly. So at a certain point, you just get tired of it, and you just want to strike off your own and make up your own rules. And my rule was no drama. So the best way to do that is become a solo esthetician, and there's nobody breathing down my neck, and I can take my time doing what I love doing most, and which is hanging out with my clients. So today's basically like a day at my spa is like a girl's day for me every day. Like, oh, just hang out with the girls.
Because that was one of my questions that I was going to ask you later on. So you just kind of cut to the chase. Because when you do have your own practice and you get to call your own shots, you are able to take as much time as you want and develop those relationships and those rapports. And don't you find that people are going to continue to come back to you because of how you make them feel? They're not like a number. They're being rushed out the door.
Yes, it's not like a factory or an assembly line. Because I hear a lot of people who go to waxology, like, oh, you're in and out. There's no conversation. You just zip, 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 and you're done out the door. And you get something different every time you want to go get a service done. But with me, I think one of the best compliments is because I'm a solo esthetician. My clients love the privacy of my studio because there's nobody knocking on my door and say, hey, Jenny, have you seen where the wax pot is, or where the scissors at? Mm-hmm. Or just opening the door without even knocking while I'm in the middle of waxing somebody. And that's so rude. So people really like the privacy, and they love the ambiance of my studio, and they love it's just one-on-one. Every time they come in, it's always going to be me and
No one else.
no one else. And another one that I like is they say there's no wait time, because I schedule enough time in between. Very rarely I do have people waiting, but I try and schedule enough time in between clients so it doesn't look like they have a room full of people waiting for their turn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. And that's important, because we've all been there. I mean, even though we try to create that cushion, sometimes things go a little bit longer,
Yes.
because we don't necessarily want to just say, okay, time's up, get off the bed. I have,
Yeah.
Janie waiting.
Yeah.
But
Because people love to talk.
yeah,
They just want to
exactly.
connect. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
It's
that's
all about that rapport.
yeah.
Now, let's kind of talk a little bit about some of the waxing services that you do. Do you do full body waxing?
I do full body waxing. The only one of the things I do not wax is the scalp. I don't wax the head.
Okay. I would never in a million years thought about waxing the head, because I think, at least with me, maybe it's a woman thing that I'm always trying to think of ways to have my hair grow.
Yeah, same here.
um,
Like, oh no, I'm thinning.
no, this is more, the reason why I'm asking is because so when people see this video, they are going to know, oh, well, Jenny does everything, as far as waxing, where there may be some practitioners that only do certain types of waxing. That's why I was wanting to know. Do you do male waxing also?
Yes.
Okay. Full body with male also? Okay. There you go. That's great. Now, you also do, obviously, because your business name has lashes in it, you also do lashes, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you do full lash extensions.
I do full classic lashes and I do volumes. I do charge a little bit more when I get lashes from other artists, only because it's so hard to do work from another artist. Maybe I don't like the way the lashes look, or it's not done right. I try not to do work from other lash artists unless that person is going to come see me exclusively. But yeah, I'm pretty picky when it comes to taking on work from other lash artists.
Gotcha. Okay, now we're going to shift gears a little bit, because obviously one of the reasons why we're doing these interviews is because you're one of our partners with AO Med. How long have you been partnering with AO Med?
About 4 years now.
Great.
Yeah, I've gone through quite a few lines, and I don't like that they sell to Amazon or other third parties, and they always have the same excuse, like Image or PCA or Glow Biotics. Those are some of the ones I use. It's like, oh, it's not our fault that our products are being sold on Amazon, because they must have picked it out from the garbage or made a counterfeit, which I find that very hard to believe, because I have looked at Dr. Esty and Skins, your your other lines that you guys carry.
Like our polylactic line, our Tova.
Yes, your TOV, House of PLLA. I have not seen any of that on eBay. I haven't seen it on Amazon, and I love it, because that means AO Med supports the esthetician, and it's loyalty. Yeah. And
we will always do that. We will always do that.
And I love the results. Your line is very result driven. As with Image, I'm like, I don't see anything
Mm-hmm.
You know, my client's like, well, I haven't seen any changes in my skin, and actually made it look and feel worse. And I'm like, I haven't seen that with AOMed, lines.
Now you, I pretty much already know what you get, but kind of share with people that may be watching this video and they're like, okay, what is Dr. Esty? Why is, you know, what's AOMed? I mean, I can kind of answer that, but what are some of the lines that you get with AOMed, and why do you get them, and how do your clients benefit from that?
So with AOMed, I get to talk to you personally. If I ever need you, you're always there for me. And you always get to me within the business day. And if I have something missing from that order, you get on it right away, which I love. Dr. Esty, House of PLLA, Skinbolic, the products are amazing. I love the way they smell. I love the texture. It gives positive results. I don't have too many clients who complain I have an allergic reaction. I have a few who may be allergic to, for some reason, with a House of PLLA, but it's very rare. And my clients see the results because I always take before and afters. And because when you see your face every day, you don't see the changes. But as soon as you see your picture from before, like maybe 2 treatments ago to today, they're like, oh my God, I did not even notice how dark and blotchy my skin is. And now that you have put the pictures side by side, I see the difference. And I don't use filters. And that's why I can never get an accurate picture, because you can never get, I'm not a professional photographer. I don't have the right lighting. But I try to do my best to take an accurate picture of what their skin looks like of before and after. And they can always tell that, oh, it's not as red. Whatever is inflamed is not as inflamed. And my crow's feet are not as pronounced. I always tell my client that I'm not a magician. I'm not a plastic surgeon. You didn't get those wrinkles overnight, and you didn't get those melasma or skin damage overnight. It takes time.
Mm-hmm.
And you can never stop aging. So I don't like the word anti-aging, but it's very popular here. But you can't stop aging. You're gonna age. What you can do is make your skin healthy and slow down the process of aging.
Yes, that is very good. I like how you worded that, because we overuse that anti-aging all the time, don't we?
It's impossible to make yourself look like you're 20 when you're 50. I'm 50. There's no way I can make myself look like when I was 20.
And you know what? Do we really want, like, I mean, to a certain degree, we want, especially from our décolleté up, we want it to kind of show the age at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But we've all seen where people have had work done up here and they're looking kind of rough down here.
Yes.
And sometimes that's a hereditary thing, but that's just a classic example of how, you want to take care of the whole body. You want to just be the healthiest that you can be at your age, and use great products. Now, I know that you love the product lines and all of that, and your clients do too. What do you think is probably one of your best sellers in any of the lines that we've talked about?
My most best seller is probably the Cavipila.
Yeah,
And
the cavi.
Yep. And cellular repair cream. That is my most popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So let's talk about
Oh, and the Sculpla facial is the most popular facial.
Okay, good. You do some great pictures, and I've also seen some of your before and after where you did the Ultra V line.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty dramatic as well.
Yes.
So,
Go ahead.
well, what? No, go ahead. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
The Ultra V line is great, but it works even better if you do a really good facial massage where you drain the lymphatic fluid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then
That's
you
so
can see a really
important.
good dramatic difference. Because the V line alone, it's great, but if you want a really good dramatic difference, is to do a really good deep facial massage.
Yeah, good. That's an excellent point. Now, I know that you recently got one of our machines.
Yes, you are RF frequent micro needling frequency machine. I love that thing.
Yeah, and how's it going with that?
It is going great. The hardest thing is to convince a client to get it done because a lot of them are very self-conscious of the downtime. And plus, I think because I kind of live in a small townish place, they're very cautious because it's expensive. But once somebody's brave enough to get it done, they actually see the difference of how much improvement they see on their skin texture, the skin tone, the elasticity.
So
So
if you were to, because there's some people that may not know what that machine does, what that does. So if someone, who would be kind of like your ideal client for that machine, so you could explain to them what this machine does? So kind of just take a 30 seconds or a minute and just explain what that is if you were going to be telling someone about the service.
my ideal client is probably a woman who's going into her mid 40s and later, and their main concern is the skin elasticity and skin texture and tone. So far, that's their main complaint: is big pores, extra wrinkles, loose skin, and they just want to have a more even tone. And from the client I've done, they have seen a dramatic difference, especially in acne scars. When they have old acne scars, they're self-conscious of it, especially when they do a lot of Zoom meetings. They do see a dramatic difference. And yeah, I still have some pictures I need to post of some of the results, but I'm kind of waiting
when you
for.
get back from vacation.
I will do that. Well, not just that, because when you get microneedling done, you see the best results after 3 to 6 months. And I'm waiting for the 3 to 6 month line, time, so I can take an actual picture of what your skin looks like after the healing time, because your skin is going to keep improving once you have the service done. It's not just going to stop after 2 weeks. It's the fibroblasts, the collagen. It's going to keep healing after 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And for those of you that maybe didn't catch what the UR is, it's actually fractional microneedling with radio frequency. And it is the latest and greatest for skin rejuvenation, for acne scarring, all those things that Jenny mentioned. And so those of you that have maybe are in Jenny's area, or you're maybe contemplating, going and, getting a treatment like with the Morphus 8 or maybe a Scarlet, and you're like, oh my goodness, that is a lot of money. Jenny actually has a machine that is just as good, if not better, than those two machines that you would be probably spending $1,000 to $2,000 per treatment. And it's a lot more comfortable for you. And so I just wanted to kind of, just in case that they missed how you explained it, I know that you did, but I wanted to kind of throw some more info that way. It's a fun treatment. It doesn't hurt. There will be a little bit of downtime because that's part of the healing process. But there's not going to be, one of the beautiful things about the radio frequency microneedling together is the radio frequency keeps you from, you know, having a bunch of blood, because the radio frequency goes in and starts healing the skin right away. And you know, yeah, right away. And you're having two powerhouse modalities combined into one. And so your results are going to be longer lasting and faster. But like Jenny said, you know, just when you do the treatment, just that first month alone, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on under your skin that we don't necessarily see until 2 or 3 months down the road at least, because it's just continuously working. That's so exciting.
Another thing I like to add is, a lot of people ask me what's the difference between traditional microneedling and the radio frequency microneedling.
Yeah, so explain to them what that is.
The radio frequency microneedling causes a thermal effect underneath the skin. So it causes a deeper controlled damage, which wakes up your immune response to that, hey, we're being damaged, let's start healing right away. And it's a thermal effect, so it's a deeper injury. So it makes your immune response go into overdrive, like, oh, we gotta heal this, we gotta get to this. As with regular microneedling, it's not as deep of a controlled wounding. Plus, I feel like it's more of a surface wound instead of a deeper into the dermis wound. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's you're totally correct on that. So with microneedling and radio frequency, especially with the UR system, it's targeted treatment. So for instance, if Jenny has a setting on like maybe 1.5 on the depth, she can also control the intensity of the radio frequency and how long that heat stays in the skin, which is also going to stimulate the collagen. And so rather than, like Jenny was explaining, the wound being up at the top, everything is down targeted at the bottom. And that's what really, really makes this machine unique, because you can totally target it based on the area and all of that. And I think it's a fun treatment to do. And
because it has a suction technique too. The vacuums the skin up, so you have an even wounding of the skin. But with the regular microneedling, you don't. There's valleys and hills, and so you don't have the same amount of depth that you would with the RF frequency.
Yeah, very good. Good job, Jenny. Okay, so I think you already kind of covered what makes your company or what makes your practice unique, and that it's just building that rapport. It's the one-on-one. They don't feel like a number. And you talked about the atmosphere. Let's kind of talk a little bit more about that. How many, do you have one room in your room? Kind of, if someone was to walk in, what would they see, I guess?
So I have 2 rooms actually. The other room is currently not being used. So you walk in through the door, you see my little foyer, and I have a little wooden screen partition that one of my clients made for me. And then you just walk around the corner, and that's where my table is, and that's where I do all my work. So it's an office. It's just like a business office. And once the door is closed, I lock it, so you have nothing but privacy and security, because nobody will steal your things.
That's good. That's good. You don't want to be, when you're most vulnerable, someone coming in and grabbing your things. That's
It's
okay.
pretty secure.
Let's kind of go through here. We already went through. Now, is the best way for people to book with you on your website, or do you prefer social media?
It's best to book with me via my website, or to call or text message my number.
Okay.
You get a faster response if you need to talk to me, if you use my phone number, or if
Okay.
you have questions. And usually people want to get squeezed in, and I can usually try and accommodate that.
Good. Good. Well, I mean, the reason why I was asking is sometimes people just tend to want to call and book an appointment, so then they have that interaction with the
Yeah,
practitioner. And
yeah,
some people's like, you know what, I'm kind of booking at midnight tonight. Let me just jump online and see if
yeah,
she has anything available. So really either one of those.
yeah. Either one of those.
Okay, great. Is there anything that you kind of want to add, or I guess one thing that I do want to ask before we start wrapping it up is, and this wasn't necessarily on any of the questions, I just happened to think of it. What are some goals that you want to kind of achieve, I guess, business wise this year and kind of moving forward? Are there treatments that you're kind of thinking about? Is there a shift that you're planning on doing in your website? What do we kind of need to be looking for with Jenny moving forward?
So I am planning on taking on an apprentice who is my daughter. She wants to be an esthetician as well, so I'm going to pass on my knowledge to her. As for treatment wise, I am kind of dabbling into tiny tattoos.
I saw that. So explain what that is for people that have seen this on Instagram or on Facebook, that follow you on Facebook. What is that all about?
Tiny tattoos is becoming very popular, which is just tiny tattoos that can be as big as 3 inches to maybe 1/4 of an inch. And they're just cute little tattoos because people like getting their fingers tattooed, their wrists tattooed, or just behind their ear. I think it's the trend so far. Maybe
so how was the tattoo done?
I use a machine, a tattoo gun, not the traditional coil one, but it's kind of like a stylus, I guess. See, I'm not really into the tattoo world quite yet, so I don't know the language.
Well, more than I did. I was like, I like seeing it's kind of like a.
But the tattoo pen that I'm using is different from the permanent cosmetic tattoo I'm using, because the ones I do on the eyebrows, the lips, and eyeliner is not as strong as a tattoo gun that I'm using for the body. So there's a difference between the tattoo tools that I use.
Okay. So you just said that you do permanent cosmetics, and we didn't even talk about that at all. So if anybody's needing their eyebrows or their lips done, and what else do you do with permanent? An eyeliner? There you go. Now, what do you charge for eyebrows?
Eyebrows, I charge $500.
That's very reasonable.
Yeah,
is it?
I'm not the most expensive, but I'm not the most inexpensive person as well. I'm just kind of in between.
That's good. Now, what are some of the techniques that you do with eyebrows?
So right now, the most popular is called powder brows. I used to do microblading, but I don't like to do microblading because I've noticed that it's a blade, and when you cut the skin, you actually scar the skin, and it destroys the hair follicles. Because I've had my eyebrows microbladed before, and it basically destroys your hair follicles to a point where your hair follicles will not grow back because it's scarred. Having your eyebrows tattooed with a machine, it creates tiny pixelated holes. So the way I like to compare it is, if you get a cat scratch, you're more likely to get a scar from the cat scratch, or when you're chopping up vegetables, you're more likely to get a scar from the cut. But I've never had a scar from an injection, whether it be vaccination or blood draw. You don't see a scar from being poked by a needle. So it is less traumatic for the skin when you get your eyebrows tattooed with a machine. So I prefer using machine.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. Now, is the microblading what used to be called the soft tap method?
No, soft tap method is basically hand poke. So you take a needle and there's no machine involved and you poke, 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 poke. So it's more like a very pixelated effect. It can be pixelated or you can poke until you get a solid line. But that one is not as damaging as microblading as well. Microblading is basically a line of needles that's in the shape of a blade, and you drag it across the skin, which is a very, very superficial cut, but still enough to damage your hair follicles.
Wow. Okay. And so you do eyebrows, eyeliner, and lips. Great. Now, is there any other services that you're hiding from me that people need to know about?
Let me see. Waxing, facials, permanent cosmetics, dabbling into tattooing. I think that's all I do.
Yeah. And I think that Jenny didn't even mention this, but she is a master esthetician.
Yeah.
So I think that's really, that's important to say also. I mean, you got your education in Washington State, right?
Yes, I went to Evergreen Beauty College.
Okay. Washington State is one of the, about handful of states that offers a master esthetician course. So if you are ever thinking about going into aesthetics and you live in one of those states, do the and then some and do the master course.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
So do you know what the difference between a master esthetician and a esthetician is? Master estheticians are licensed to work with lasers basically, and I don't do, even though I'm a master esthetician, I don't do lasers because I don't work in a medical spa. In order for me to do lasers, I need to have a medical director, which is a doctor. And the reason being that is in case something bad happens, the doctor is there to help me fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But me being a solo esthetician, I don't want to have I don't want to become a medical spa because it is a little bit more expensive.
Well, yeah, and there's, I think what you do in your practice, you kind of have the best of both worlds. You have very, what I would call holistic, very relaxing type of treatments. And then you do have what people would consider more on the medical line because it's more treatment driven.
Yes. Yes.
So
my place is more treatment driven than a relaxing spa. So that's another reason why I became a master esthetician, because I like results.
Mm-hmm. And I think most clients want results, as well. Is there anything else that you want to add before we go? Oh, I did forget one question.
Okay.
Do you have like a referral program? If somebody came to see you and they're like, oh my gosh, Jenny is the best, I want to refer my friend. And it's okay if you don't, I'm just asking.
Oh, I do, but the client has to remind me because I'm really bad at remembering who referred who. Okay. But I do offer a referral program. So if a client refers her friend, I usually give the referrer a free service as a thank you.
Oh, that's very generous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as for no, I need them to tell me like, oh, I referred Jane over here. Like, oh, I remember Jane. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
would you like to have done? Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, if somebody was going to be giving me a free service, you better believe I'm going to be reminding you that I sent somebody to you, because that's really generous. And I know that I don't want to divulge a whole bunch of personal information, but I know that you and your husband both were in the military. And I know that you guys have huge hearts for our military and all of that. Do you do any specific things for like military families or anything like that?
Like I said, I usually offer a bonus service.
Okay.
Just, but I forget to tell them that I give them a bonus service. I just offer them extra time, and I do extra services for them.
Mm-hmm.
So does that make it kind of hard to explain? Because
yeah, I get it. I mean, you don't necessarily say, okay, now I'm going and giving you a free add-on because you're military. You just continue with the service and
yeah, because usually in my service I'm busy. Either the client is we're busy having a conversation and we're really into our conversation and we're having fun talking, or maybe they're sleeping and I don't want to wake them up. But I always usually add an extra service on, and I usually forget to tell them.
And just let them wake up to something new. That's awesome. Okay.
I'm very forgetful. People will know that. I'm really bad at remembering names, but I like to give out extra services and make people feel special.
Okay, great. Now, to kind of wrap it up, and I know I keep saying, oh, and to wrap it up, but I keep thinking of something else.
Ask me anything.
It's just so fun to talk to. If there was somebody or maybe a niche that you wanted, maybe I'm not explaining it. So do you see a fair amount of acne clients that are teenagers? Is that something that you want to dive more into? What is it, a little niche, or what is something that you're like, I would really like to be able to kind of get the word out about my practice because I do this, but I maybe don't have as many people that know about this?
I don't really like to box myself into a niche because I like to do a lot of things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I like variety. I like to change the pace up a little bit. I love challenges. So I guess I'm kind of like a jack of all trades, but master of none. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
No, I think that you've mastered quite a few things, at least. I mean, I can't really speak necessarily for, your permanent cosmetics or anything like that, but Jenny does very, very well with the lines that she uses from AOMed and the service that she does with AOMed. And so she definitely has those mastered.
Thank you. I mean, I don't want to say I'm a master of none because I want to be good at things that I do, but it's so hard to explain.
No, I totally understand what you're saying. It's like there's some people, some estheticians that they like doing just lash extensions.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. That's beautiful. That's their thing. But I think, like you said, that, with you having a broad scope of what you do in your practice, you're going to appeal to a lot of different people. And if one trend kind of goes by the wayside, you're still going to be in business because you haven't put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Exactly. And not only that, I am so curious about everything. As soon as I see something that I'm curious about, I want to learn. I want to learn it. And that's what's so great about being an esthetician, is because our scope is so varied.
Yeah.
Like you said, you can be a waxer, you can be a lash artist, you can be a facialist, you can be a tattoo artist. But as an esthetician, you can dabble in all of that stuff because there's so much to learn. And I love learning new skills. And if not learning, I want to find some information about it. So in case somebody asks me, I can answer them. Like a lot of questions I get is like, oh, what do you think of laser hair removal? And I can answer a little bit of laser hair removal because it was one of my interests. And that's the reason why I became a master esthetician, so I can learn more about lasers. You know what I mean?
Okay, so if someone asks you, what do you think about laser hair removal? What would you say?
A lot of people believe laser hair removal is a permanent solution to removing hair, but it is not permanent. The only machine that can be called permanent hair removal is through electrolysis. And the reason being is when you get your laser hair removal, the laser seeks out melanin, the pigment that colors your hair. And if you have blonde hair, the laser is not going to be accurate. And even if you have dark hair and the laser hits it, it hits like a buckshot. It's like, psh, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it doesn't hit the hair. That's why you have to get it done multiple times, because it doesn't hit all the hairs. As with electrolysis, you have one probe, really thin probe. It goes right into the hair follicle. So it's very precise, and it causes cellular lysis. And what that happens, it basically destroys the hair follicle individually. So that hair follicle will not come back. As with laser, it is not guaranteed. Does that make sense?
It does. That is, and I so did not know the difference in that. I mean, I'm so one of the razor girls.
So if you want, I don't offer this service, but if you want permanent hair removal, it has to be electrolysis so far. Waxing, I think after maybe 5 to 10 years, the hair doesn't grow back. But I also think it's because women are going to perimenopause or menopause. A lot of we grow less hair anyways. So I can't really say that waxing causes permanent hair removal. But I do
But
know
it does slow it down. It seems like it slows it down a lot, doesn't
it does slow it down, but it doesn't kill the hair follicle as fast as electrolysis. Same with laser. It doesn't kill the hair. All I can say is that if you have some kind of hormonal imbalance, you will grow hair anyways. Even if you kill off that one hair follicle, another hair follicle will sprout up, just because you can't control hormones.
Boy, is that not the truth. Just grab any emotion as it goes by. You know, I totally get that. Okay, so, well, Jenny, I have really enjoyed this so much, and I had so much fun, and we just cannot even begin to thank our partners with AOMed enough. We love you guys so much, and we are so appreciative of you, and we're so honored to be able to work with you. We know that there are tons of companies out there, and the thought of you choosing us and, you know, wanting to work with us just means everything to us. And so we want to make sure that you guys are really taken care of. So if there's anything that we can do, please reach out to us. If there's ways that you feel like that we can improve or to make things better for you all, then, you know, I can also speak for our home office and our owners that we welcome feedback. It doesn't necessarily mean that we can do everything, that you ask, but we will definitely consider it. And if there's anything that we can do to remotely even come close, you know that we'll do our best to do that. So, okay.
You, out of all the skin reps I've dealt with, you are the best. I love you, Brenda.
I love you too, Jenny. And that just means so much to me, because I feel like that, you know, we want to make sure you guys are taken care of, but we always want to improve on how we do our service. And so that really and truly means a lot to me. And I'll make sure that the home office gets that feedback as well. So they'll be seeing the video, so that'll be good.
No,
And
you're the best. Oh, and your training is excellent. I love your training. So
yeah. So what trainings have we done together? And so this is, I'm great. I'm so glad that you brought this up. So how did we do the training, and what did we do training on?
You pretty much trained me how to use the Scopla facial. And you explained to me how it works. But the most in-depth training is with the radio frequency microneedling, because I had a lot of questions about that. And you trained me really well on that. And you answered all my questions, and you took the time. As with some trainers, they just want to rush you through it. And it's like, okay, now that we've gone through training, you need to buy this and this and this. And you're like, no, we're going to get through this machine. You're going to keep, just ask me if I didn't explain it well, I'll try a different way. And yeah, you suggested to use a Philo Shine, and then you came up with the TOV serums to use. And yeah, that was really good. I liked it.
Well, we know that we want to definitely do lots more training. And so that's some of our goal. And obviously, not only because of COVID, but just because we have accounts all over the country. It's physically impossible for us to go on location to all of you all. And so we really try to overcompensate for that and do good FaceTime training, and always be here to support you moving forwards. But I appreciate that feedback so much. Is there anything else? How long have you been on here? I don't even know.
I don't know either.
Which it doesn't matter. There's not a time limit.
I know I'll be texting you soon, because I need to look at my inventory and order more sunscreen.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, which is your favorite sunscreen?
So far, I really like the Dr. Esty mild sunscreen, because it's gentle for people who just had microneedling done.
I'm going to be doing an Instagram post probably later on today, because people should be wearing sunscreen all year long. But I think as it's getting warmer, people are maybe being more aware of it. So I'm going to be going and sharing some of the sunscreens that we have and what's the difference in them and all of that. So people can go to Instagram and they can see this, and when they're thinking about, oh, I need to get a new sunscreen, or what's the difference, or what's the best kind, because people, sometimes I like physical, sometimes I like chemical, sometimes I like a combination, do they have acne, what's going on in their life, all of that. And so be looking for that on Instagram, if not today, definitely by Monday. So okay. Well, you have a great weekend, and thank you again, Jenny, for your time. I enjoyed this so much. And I'm going to have Jenny's information down in the comment section. So if you're in Washington State, in her area, and tell me the city again, because I can never pronounce it.
We're located in downtown Snohomish. It's a cute little boutique.
Snohomish, okay.
It's a cute little boutique.
If you're in the Snohomish area, in her area, or even if you're in the state of Washington and you want to travel to see her, it would be very much worth the travel time to go see her. And I'm sure that Jenny would be open if you're an esthetician out there and you're thinking about some products with AO Med or anything. She would be more than willing to be truthful and honest in her experience and what she likes and all of that.
Yes, definitely.
Because that's just how Jenny is. Jenny's very much of a giver, and she loves sharing her knowledge with other people. So.
Oh my gosh, I do.
And that's awesome that your daughter is going to be working with you. That's going to be great.
Thank you. I'm excited.
When does she start, by the way?
Hopefully in May. So there's still some things I need to figure out because I've never been an employer before. So I'm learning a whole new it's a whole new different world for me because I have to learn how to do payroll, accounting, bookkeeping. Yeah. Did you know that apprentices have to pay for an apprentice license? I did not know that.
I didn't either.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I mean, you have to be a licensed esthetician. You have to have a driver's license, licenses for everything. But I did not know to be an apprentice, you have to have a license to become an apprentice. It's weird.
I guess maybe for liability purposes.
Yeah. And as a trainer, I also learned that you have to go through LNI and Washington State Department of Licensing. So it's so confusing. I'm learning. See, another new skill I'm learning.
There you go. But see, this is going to be good because, your daughter's going to be the first one, and you may decide, who knows where this takes you?
Who knows? We'll see.
You may open a school someday.
I don't know. I like to teach. I like to train, but I think I like training more than teaching.
Yeah, I like training a lot too. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go, Jenny, and thank you again for your time. And I'll have all your info down there, and I'll make sure that I'll let you know when this gets loaded up to YouTube. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Brenda. It was nice talking.
Thanks so much. Bye bye.